Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to season. Hang on, where's my finger? 4 of the A&R NASCAR Cup Series, and this is the introduction to all the drivers and their paint schemes for season 4. Some drivers have some new sponsors and paint schemes. Some drivers were left out from last season, and a lot of drivers are ready for season 4, so let's get right to it. Our first driver is Kurt Busch. Oh, his gear wrench car wants some attention. He has 2 paint schemes this season, just like last season. Monster Energy and Gear Wrench. Once again, his Monster Energy car is not going to be the highest performance, so don't expect him to win any races in that car, but the Gear Wrench will give him some competition.
And next up, we have Brad Keselowski in the number 2. He has picked up one sponsor from last year. Alliance Truck Parts came on partway through Season 3. But his first is Worth. This was with him all of the seasons he's been in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. The paint scheme was changed last year. Makes it pop a little bit more on the racetrack. It's got white, red, and black. That'll be his primary scheme. Alliance Truck Parts, as I mentioned, still with him after coming on partway through the season last year. Same paint scheme as last year. Auto Trader is with Brad Keselowski as well. They came on in Season 3, sponsored him the full Season 3 length, and they're coming back to sponsor him for another season. And then his new sponsor is Pertec, a nice blue, yellow, with a little bit of red outlining things. Nice looking car for Brad Keselowski there, and I hope to get to victory lane with his new sponsor.
And now we have Austin Dillon with only a single sponsor for Season 4 in the number 3 Dow car. Same paint scheme as last year, but let's see if he can take home the championship in it.
And next we have the Season 3 runner-up, Season 2 champion, Kevin Harvick in the number 4. Kevin Harvick has a new Busch car. Instead of Busch, it's Busch Light. This will be his main scheme for Season 4, with a bunch of H's on the side for Busch. Second paint scheme will be his Mobile 1. This ran with him last year. Mobile 1's been with him all of these years that he's been in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series, but the change of black came last year. It will be back with him again. Hunt Brothers Pizza returns after getting to victory lane with him at Martinsville last year. And then Jimmy John. It has dropped its sponsorship somewhat. It will not sponsor as many races, but it's still a paint scheme of Kevin Harvick. But that's not all for Kevin Harvick. He has 4 special Busch Light paint schemes. The first of which is his Busch Light Pit for Busch. This will run in the Daytona 500. That's the only race it will run. All of these races will run one race exclusively. This will run the Daytona 500, kick the season off for Kevin Harvick. The second one is his For the Farmers paint scheme, a beautiful looking paint scheme here, a blue sky with a corn cob on it, cornfields, honoring the farmers of America who work so hard for us. This will run at Atlanta. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. This one, the Busch Light Patriotic scheme, this will run at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Home of the brave.
Which will be the regular season finale. And then his Busch Beer Patriotic, or not Patriotic, his Throwback, rather. This will run at Darlington in the playoffs, as Darlington has 2 dates this year. It's early in the season and in the playoffs. It will be the second race of the playoffs. So a nice looking throwback scheme for Kevin Harvick.
And our next driver is Ryan Newman returning in the 6th car. His primary scheme is going to be Wyndham Rewards, which has run with the 6 for a couple of years now, with a slight change last year to the scheme. Nice looking paint scheme. His secondary will be from last year too, is Oscar Mayer. Oscar Mayer hot dogs, a nice orange color to it. And a new paint scheme for him for Season 4 is Castrol Oil. A very nice mix of green, white, and red. Definitely a good-looking car. Can't wait to see that one out on the track.
And next we have Chase Elliott in the 9. His first scheme is Napa Auto Parts, which has been with him every year since he's been in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. Varying different numbers and different changes to the scheme. His second one is Little Caesars Pizza, which he has won with Little Caesars Pizza 2 times. The 2 times that he's won in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series, once at Talladega, once at the Brickyard. And then Kelly Blue Book will be returning to Chase Elliott. Same paint scheme that has been with him the last couple of years that he's been in the 9. And then his new scheme, not a new sponsor. Mountain Dew is still a sponsor, but his scheme, Mountain Dew's Zero Sugar, it has quite a bit of change. It's mostly black now with highlighter green racing stripes down the center of the car, and then on the side you have sort of what looks like the jelly roll-up things that you get, the candy treat. But a nice looking car for Chase Elliott.
Eric Almirola is here too, and he has the same car as the past couple years.
And then Denny Hamlin also returns with the white FedEx. He hopes to, hopefully, win a race, maybe get in contention, as his A&R NASCAR Cup Series career has been a sad one.
Next up, we have Ryan Blaine with 3 new paint schemes and 1 returning. His primary is a new one. It's Sylvania. He once again has a highlighter yellow car as his primary. Last season it was PPG that was his primary and Moneyline as a secondary. Moneyline has actually dropped him this year, so we won't have that scheme, but he has 3 other new ones to take its place. Next up, we have Body Armor, a new paint scheme for Season 4. Definitely an interesting paint scheme. A nice mix of white and red. And his other new paint scheme is Advanced Auto Parts. Now, I personally am a big fan of this car because it reminds me of Advanced Auto Parts Grinder, the monster truck in Monster Jam from a while back. So, definitely happy about that. And his returning paint scheme, PPG, which was his primary last season, will actually not be running as many races as the other 3. So, PPG definitely pulled back on their sponsorship agreement, and Sylvania took place as primary.
And then there's Clint Boyer. Peak will no longer run in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. They dropped him as a sponsorship, so his only sponsorship this year will be Rush Truck Centers. As Clint Boyer enters his final season in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series, one thing that we did forget to mention is that this might be the farewell season of the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. So, we'll have to see, but this will definitely be Clint Boyer's last year, as he will be retiring from racing altogether after this year.
Next up, we have Kyle Busch with 4 paint schemes. His primary is going to be M&M's Fudge Brownie car. This will be his primary scheme for Season 4. Next up, we have his Interstate Batteries, which has gotten a facelift since last season. Now it's like an all-green sort of car. Next up, a new-ish sponsor is Skittles Dip. Same sponsor, different paint scheme. Skittles Dip car, nice looking car, mix of red and white. That'll be his primary scheme. And finally, his classic Skittles Patriotic, which will be running as well.
And next we have Martin Trurex Jr. in the 19 once again. Enters his second season in the 19 car. His first scheme will be Bass Pro Shops. None of his paint schemes have changed. He still has the same sponsorships as last year. Bass Pro Shops will still carry the main weight of his sponsorship. And Auto Owners Insurance will be the secondary sponsorship for Martin Truex Jr. And then his final scheme will be the Sirius XM car. Nice looking black, blue, and white scheme there for Truex.
Next up, we have Eric Jones with a new sponsor. But same as last season, he has DeWalt as a sponsor. Same as the last couple of years. He also has Craftsman, which has also been the same for past couple seasons. He has his Stanley car, which hasn't run nearly as much as the other two, but
this came on last year, partway through the season.
Yeah, halfway through the season, he got the Stanley, and finally his new new sponsor is Irwin Speedbore. Very nice scheme, very throwback-esque, while being an actual scheme that is going to run more than once. Very nice looking car, reminds me of the good old days.
Now, this is the same paint scheme that ran last year, but it is now a different driver. The number 21 car will be getting its third driver in 3 years. Ryan Blaney took it in Season 1, and then Paul Menard took it for Season 2 and Season 3, and then Matt DiBenedetto now will take over in the 21 car. His first year in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series, we'll see if he can do what Paul Menard did in Season 2, which was make it to the round of 8, one position away from the Championship 4.
Next we have Joey Logano, 3 same paint schemes. He has a Shell Pennzoil, which will obviously be his primary. That hasn't changed in over a decade. Next is his AAA Insurance, which has a very nice looking car, same scheme as from a while ago. And finally, just a regular old Pennzoil. It will be his third paint scheme, and yeah, that's it.
And next we have the 24 of William Byron, and he has some nice looking cars here. 2 of them have been the same for quite a while. The new one, though, it has much more blue on it. It's a lighter blue. This one will run in the Daytona 500 exclusively. Just all the colors are a lot lighter and not as dark. Here is his regular Exalta car. This one will be running the most races for the youngster. Still in search of his first win in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. And then his Liberty University car. Liberty still sponsoring him in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. And that'll be it for William Byron.
And next we have a car that is the exact same paint scheme from last year, but with a different driver. Daniel Suarez is no longer here. The 41 has been replaced by Cole Custer. I bet he likes going to Freddy's and grabbing some cold custard.
And next we have Bubba Wallace, who will only have one paint scheme this year. His U.S. Air Force car returns. And there's his hauler right there.
Next up is Jimmy Johnson with a slightly different ally scheme, and this will be his final season in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. Jimmy the Juggernaut Johnson is retiring after this season. It's been a fun run, Johnson. Hope to see you have fun after this season.
Last but not least, we have his teammate Alex Bowman in the 88. First off, we have his Exalta scheme, which has been the same since 2018, or Season 2. So that's nothing new there. Valvoline will continue to sponsor Alex Bowman, as Valvoline, I believe, won a race last year with Alex Bowman, so they're happy to come back and sponsor him. Lumar, I know for sure, won a race. They won an Auto Club last year, so they're going to come back and sponsor Alex Bowman as well. So those are all the drivers and their paint schemes for season number 4. As there is an overview of them once again. Let's talk a little bit about the season and the schedule coming up. Obviously, the Daytona 500 will lead things off as the opening race of the series. Las Vegas will be second in the season, the first ever time that the A&R NASCAR Cup Series will visit Las Vegas. Darlington will be the third race of the season, and as you see right here, Las Vegas is under the Roval. That has been changed. Sorry about that, a little bit of technical difficulties. As you see, Las Vegas is right under the Roval. That has been changed. Darlington will have a second date this year instead of Las Vegas. The first Darlington race will not be a throwback weekend. It will be a normal race. And then following Darlington number 1, we have Charlotte, and it says 2 weeks because the All-Star race will be first, and then the Coca-Cola 600 will be after that. And then Bristol. Homestead, Miami is no longer the season finale. Phoenix or ISM Raceway will be doing that. Martinsville's after Homestead. Talladega, Atlanta, Indianapolis will be the regular season finale. And then the Charlotte Roval will open things up as it usually does in the playoffs. As I said, Darlington will be the second race in the round of 12. So Darlington has a second date for the first time in the A&R NASCAR Cup Series. It'll be the second race of the playoffs in the round of 12. And then a track that we haven't visited since Season 1 is coming back. Kansas Speedway will be the round of 8 race, and it will decide which 4 will be going to ISM to fight for a championship. So that is the introduction for season number 4. We hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and stay tuned for the first race of the season 4 that will be coming up sooner than later.